Breaking news, Bucs fans. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have fired OC Josh Grizzard after a very disappointing one season. Wow. You're watching the Bucs Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Reed Barkus. Let's set the stage. First off, it was head coach rumors, about Todd Bowles and potentially him getting fired. He ends up meeting with the Grizzards, not the Grizzards, I'm sorry, with the Glazers, and it's not him. And one day after, it's Josh Grizzard getting fired. So obviously, Rick Stroud coming out with Bucs coach Todd Bowles has met with ownership and is having meetings with his coaches individually today. That's important. Things seem to be progressing as normal, but at minimum, there will be staff changes. That's the biggest thing, perhaps significant ones. Well, a very big significant one, Josh Grizzard, fired. I personally, I think it's good. It's a little drastic, and we'll get into that. But if you're happy that Josh Grizzard is gone and that disappointing season with not really utilizing Baker, and I know he had a shoulder injury, but I'm liking the video. If I'm getting down there and liking the video, I'm doing it because I think we just needed a change. And if you think so too, like that video. And if not, comment why, because I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments as well. I look at all of them. Now, like I said, seems drastic. Clearly, changes were needed. In the beginning of the video, I said it was disappointing. We all know it was disappointing 2025 season. Changes need to be made. I didn't think it was going to be Todd Bowles. I kind of wanted it to be him just to get a full reset and bring somebody else in, maybe an offensive mind, but we're not going to do that. Now we're going to bring in a different OC, maybe Mike McDaniel. If you didn't hear, he just got fired. Now, from Jeremy Fowler, the Bucs are also moving on from quarterbacks coach Thad Lewis, per source. Tampa Bay will let the new offensive coordinator replacing Josh Grizzard pick his QB coach. Lewis was with Baker Mayfield for all 3 of his seasons in Tampa Bay. Now, whoever the new OC is going to be, obviously is going to bring his guys. The first thing that comes to mind when something like this is happening is Todd Monken, used to be the OC back in 2018. With Harbaugh gone, I don't want to say he's alone, but I think he's tenured enough to have his guys that he knows that he likes to work with. And if you didn't know, he worked with Baker Mayfield in Cleveland in 2019. I think that's a name to keep in mind. Like Diana Rossini says, back in 2019, Todd Monken worked with Baker Mayfield. And then Todd Haley in 2018, Alex Van Pelt, 2020 and 2021, Ben McAdoo / Liam Cohen in 2022, Dave Canales, Liam Cohen again, and Josh Grizzard. Now, if you look back at Baker's last 2 seasons, last year, one of his best years in his career, and that is not even a question. 71% completion percentage, 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns to 16 interceptions, and a QB rating of 106. Now, this year, it wasn't terrible. He had some injuries. He missed some time. But 63% completion percentage, the yards were way down. The interception to touchdown ratio in the beginning of the season was a lot better than it turned out to be in the end of the season. And is that Josh Grizzard's fault? Is that the injury's fault? I don't think so. But changes were needed to be made. A little drastic, like I said earlier, but I like it. I think this is needed for a refresh on the offensive side of the ball, especially the defense is a whole different question. But when you have so many stars like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Bucky Irving and Jalen McMillan coming back, and I think you need someone that can look at this roster and say, okay, this is a win now roster. We went 10-7 last year with Liam Cohen. This is a roster that a coach can look at this and be like, okay, I can work with Baker. I can work with Mike Evans. And then the defense is a different question. But who says an OC can't come in here and totally change up the offensive scheme and change up the idea of what this offense could look like? Coaching matters. That is something in the NFL that everybody knows. You look at Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. He brought the Bears from here all the way up to here just by how he coaches and his culture. Talk about Liam Cohen for a second. The Jaguars were 4-13 last year. You bring in a guy like Cohen, 13-3, totally flip around that organization. He has the Jaguars humming. And has Trevor Lawrence playing the best ball I've seen Trevor Lawrence play. Ring a bell? That was last year with Baker Mayfield. So coaching completely matters, and that much is clear in the NFL. And excuse me, if you don't agree with that, it's just you're not thinking straight, because Josh Grizzard, he's not terrible, but I just don't think he's utilizing this team as well as I would like. Now, Ian Rappaport came out with some names to watch for this OC job, because if you didn't know, Josh Grizzard fired. Rams passing game specialist Nathan Shieldhaas, right, Sam? And then Ravens OC Todd Monken, and Falcons OC Zach Robinson, which I'm not going to lie, I know a division rival, and that can kind of steer people the wrong way. I kind of like this. If you didn't notice, Kirk Cousins towards the end of the season, he was winning some games. I think they won like 4 of their last couple games, and they were doing pretty well, especially Kyle Pitts and stuff. So he can run a good offense. I think he was maybe crutched by Michael Penix and him not being able to go under center. But I don't hate that idea. So we can keep these guys in mind. Who do you want as the next head coach? Head coach. I'm sorry. I got Todd Bowles in my head. Who do you want as the next Buccaneers offensive coordinator? If you had to ask me, it just happened. Give me Mike McDaniel. I love how he coaches. I don't think he's a head coach anymore. Same thing with like Brian Dable. I think some guys are just not meant to be head coaches. And I think Mike McDaniel is sort of slotting himself into that idea as well. As he just is an OC maybe. So give me Mike McDaniel. But you let me know in the comments section. Like I said, I look at all the comments and I like them. So let me know who you want. If you enjoyed, I'm sorry. A lot going on this morning. I'm sorry. But if you enjoyed today's show, hit the like button, please. It does help. I mean, I look on YouTube and, people are saying, oh, like this, subscribe. I never knew until I started working at this job. It actually does help. It shows YouTube that people like this video. And if we get enough people in here, we got a whole conglomerate of Bucs fans hanging out with us. So if you like today's show, hit the like button. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. I'll have more videos coming out. Maybe OC candidates. We'll really dive deep into who could potentially be the next OC of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And as always, fire the cannons.